NFL Week 6. And like we do here on this show, we started with Ron the Don Romanelli. My man, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great. I'm still excited about that Monday Night Football game. That the finish to that one. That was a nice one there. We had the Kansas City Chiefs dropping another one, losing record again on the season.
Man, we were riding high there for a second. We had one back to back. It was looking like the Chiefs were headed back to the dynasty they had been. They lose to the Jags. And Romanelli looking smarter and smarter with that Chiefs under ticket that he told us about.
And more
So
handsome. Yeah.
yeah. We said this was gonna be a season long discussion, so it's just funny to see how the ups and flows of the Chiefs this year.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be all right. They'll be all right.
I mean, they're favorite this week. It's going to be a good game. So another primetime game. This is what I was saying. These primetime games can go either way. You think, in Jacksonville, they're not going to have too much of an issue, huh? It's a prime. They don't get a lot of Monday night games. When was the last time? I know there was one point they didn't have a Monday night game for like 10 years. So there you go.
Yeah, that was their Super Bowl for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. They're a good team though. They are a good team. I won't act like the Jags are not. They are. Man, NFL rolling right along though. I'm loving the NFL this year. But I actually think this is one of the toughest weeks. I think this is the toughest week thus far that we've had all season long. So some landmines this week, some landmines, and I think a lot of people need to be careful. Just kind of rolling with what they think teams are and who they've been and what they've seen. Not for long is kind of what I think the NFL stands for. So we'll see. We'll see. Or maybe I'm on the wrong side. What we talking about? What are you talking about here on this NFL show this week?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a weak card. I think there's some diamonds in the rough, and I think this is one of the stronger games, stronger plays, and that's the Cowboys versus the Panthers. I gotta
Hmm.
say, I gotta say, I am, I'm a bigger fan of the Cowboys right now and their future outlook than most. Not as much as Jay probably, but this is a Cowboys team that I just placed a wager before Thursday Night Football to win the NFC East at plus 900 after the Eagles lost. That's now down to 650, 750 at some books. So still, a good price there. It's basically a situation where I still think the Commanders are a better team than Dallas. I think the Eagles overall are a better team as well. But with the Eagles' struggles and the Cowboys starting to play better and having one of their better defensive weeks of the season, their last game, I wouldn't necessarily count out the Cowboys. They were very competitive against the Packers, scoring 40 points on that defense. Goes to show you this is one of the better offenses in the NFL. And we've seen teams with great offenses and not so great defenses, like the Detroit Lions, put together great win-loss records by the end of the season, win divisions, and be dangerous teams. And I think that that's exactly what you get here at Dallas. I think this is a spot where the Cowboys should be able to score almost every drive. They should be able to move the ball at will. They're running the ball over 5 yards per carry. Dak's having a great season. Panthers defense doesn't really concern me. I think it's a defense, probably middle of the pack, I would say, a league average defensive team. They were great in the second half against the Dolphins after a slow start last week, and give them credit for that win. But I also think it's a clear letdown spot after a comeback victory like that. And I think Dallas is too much here, and land just a field goal. I think it's a cheap enough price to take the Cowboys even on the road. So I'm gonna lay the points with the Cowboys, and I would say certainly play Cowboys to make the playoffs is worth a look, and maybe even a sprinkle if they can beat the Commanders next week to win the division.
Oh, Romanelli.
It's a long shot. This is not a Dodgers to win the World Series or Chiefs under type of play. Those are a little bit more safer plays, but sometimes you got to go for it. Sometimes you got to place the long shot Hail Mary type plays.
Fair. Of course, know I'm slightly biased. This is my team, but I've been telling y'all from the start of the season, I kind of thought this was the case with us. And ultimately, a lot of my belief comes in my quarterback. And in the game, talking specifically about this game, I'm just going to keep referring to a stat that I've referred to a lot. It's just my team against bad teams. And my quarterback against bad teams is one of the best the NFL has ever seen. I know some of you may say that's crazy, but the numbers back it up. So the Panthers right now 2-3 qualifies them as a losing team. Dak Prescott is 40-14 against teams below 500. Like, he's extremely dominant in these situations. We saw that kind of last week, beating up on a bad Jets team. Romanelli told you a lot of the offensive numbers you need to know about the Cowboys. One of the highest scoring teams, I believe. Overall offensive production as well. Javvante Williams is running the ball effectively. Dak is signal calling well. And this was with a banged up offensive line, missing our number one receiver. Offensively, things should only get better from here. And defensively, we were terribly bad, historically bad to start the season. But you got to remember, new DC, new head coach, new scheme, players coming back from injury, losing one of the best defensive players in the NFL. It was going to take some time for all the pieces to kind of come together. And last week was encouraging. First half, I know the Jets kind of moved the football in the second half a bit. But with a big of a lead like that, you kind of open it up. You sit back in zone. I kind of think is what I think kind of happened more so than anything else. Basically, all I'm saying is I believe in my team. Wow, shocker. But the Panthers don't scare me. And a quick story, man. I think I took the Panthers, was that last year? In this similar spot. And Mitch clowned me for it. He clowned me for it. He clowned me for it. He clowned me for it. So I won't be making that mistake again. If y'all remember, I have the do not bet list. I should have grabbed it. But on the do not bet list is the Carolina Panthers. And we put them on there specifically after I took them against my Cowboys the last time they played. And we demolished them. And I kind of think that's what happens here as well. Panthers are on the up and up. But I think this Dallas offense would be too much for them. And I think the defense is starting to get a little better as the season progresses. We'll see.
Yeah, Dallas has done well in this series. They're 9-5 against the spread since 2000. The home team has not done very well in this series. Just 4-6 against the spread in the last 10. So I think that bodes well for the road team here.
Fair enough, man. In terms of your division bet, one reason I do love it is, the history of this division. No repeat division winner. That's one thing I harped about a lot over the offseason, where it's like, I don't care how good the team has been. They just have not repeated the year after. That's the turnover in this division. Cowboys will win it. The next year, Philly will win it. Philly will win it. The next year, the Cowboys will win it. The next year, Washington will win it. It's just been one of those. The Giants will win it. You know what I mean? It's just been one of those divisions. So are the Eagles right now still negative money to win it?
They're minus 115. And here's the thing. Like, if you could give me Washington plus 300, 400, I, of course, would take that. I still think the Commanders are a better team than the Cowboys. But it's in terms of the value. I am fading Philadelphia. I do not like what I'm seeing from the Eagles. They had a great defensive team, the whole season. Now they just give up 30-plus points to Jackson Dart and the Giants. So for me, this is a complete fade of Philadelphia, whose offense was already not in great shape. And if the Cowboys can sweep the season series over a Commanders team that they've played very well against over the years, that's basically my ticket in to a plus 900 play. So that's the thought process behind it. If you had to ask me right now, who do you think is going to win the division? I think it'll be the Commanders, but you're not getting that type of price with the Commanders. So that's why I like Dallas.
This is probably the nicest words I will ever get Romanelli to speak about my Cowboys. So I have to enjoy it.
They're still, here's now after saying all that, I think they're the worst defensive team in the league. Still,
we might be.
I mean, there's not to say, our defense, our defensive coordinator, we had a great half against the Jets last week. None of that. I'm not betting the Cowboys because I think their defense is improving anyway. They're terrible. But Dak, I believe in Dak, the greatest quarterback of all time.
Get your MVP tickets in. I've been telling y'all that too. Get your Dak MVP ticket in. Still great value. Still today, a great value. So, all right, enough yapping about my team, man. I don't want all y'all on them anyway. That's when we lay an egg. So bet the Panthers. No, I'm kidding. Take the boys. We should be just fine this week. Romanelli, I do know where to find your favorite plays, and that is over at Pick Dawgz Premium. What you think you got over there this weekend?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's an overall not so great card in the NFL, but 3 to 5 plays I think are the strongest, and you can find those at pickdawgz.com under the Premium Picks tab. Long-term plan always your best bet. You get a monthly plan now. It'll take you to the start of college basketball season. So also baseball still rolling on. We got the championship series coming up. So great time. NHL, NBA coming up. These are the months, October, November, December, our favorite months in sports betting. So check it out, Pick Dawgz Premium.
Check it out, man. Romanelli, appreciate you coming on this week. We'll see you throughout the week, my man. And, of course, all the time right here on the Pick Dawgz YouTube channel.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, my man. We keep it rolling here on the NFL show, and I got my man Jeremy Kahn with me. Jeremy, how you doing this week?
Doing well, man. Been hot, especially in the NFL. It's been very kind to me. I missed Monday and Thursday night this past week, and I'm still hitting well above 60%. So it's been very kind.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I had a really good week in the NFL last week as well. We're recording this on Friday. Last night I did lose though. I had the under in the Giants game.
I did as well. Team.
Yeah. Wrong read.
I just think it's the bad break of Thursday night football sometimes because, you see that first quarter and you're like, oh, man, the rest of the game was played like an underplay, but you got 23 points in the first quarter. It's just going to do you in.
Yeah. So bounce back. I'm looking to bounce back, man. I think I've been saying here on this show, I think this is the toughest NFL card to date this season. I still think it's some really good spots, but the reason I say that, I think there's a couple landmines. And I think people should be weary to try to avoid some of those. I'm interested to kind of hear your thoughts on what we're talking about this week. Where we headed to?
We're going to head to Miami, and we got the Chargers and the Dolphins. And this is one of the games this week where we have teams traveling 3,000 to 4,000 miles to go play in Florida, right? There's 3 games there. Miami, Tampa Bay, and Jacksonville are all getting people traveling. 1 o'clock games are really tough on these West Coast teams as well. But what I'm seeing here is there was a turning point in that Chargers game. They were up 10-0 and driving for another score. And then the Washington Commanders caught a big break, and then they just folded up shop. They lost their starting running back. They lost Omarion Hampton's out along with Najee Harris. Their left tackle's hurt. They just made a trade to get a pass rusher. I just don't think this Chargers team's as good as everybody thinks right now with the way that they're assembled. And I'm not telling you Miami's great. I did say it was kind of interesting to see how Miami's offense has been playing without Tyreek Hill. It looked really good. Sometimes things are weird when things start clicking and maybe you don't feel like you have to force it into someone else. They looked settled last time. I think Miami wins this game, not only covers, but I'll take the points.
Ooh, it's rare. I feel like me and you are on opposite sides, and I feel like we're on opposite sides in this one. And everybody knows I'm the biggest Chargers hater. I'm Justin Herbert's biggest hater.
Social media quarterback. How are you not doing that, man? Come on, you should be with me on the Dolphins.
No, man. The thing, I won't condemn the I know that. Well, here's what I'll say: the Chargers, I know they've lost back-to-back and bad losses. Well, the Commanders one's not a bad. The Giant one's is pretty bad, but they're an AFC West team not built to play those NFC East teams. Like the ball they're trying to play in the AFC West, the ball the Chargers are trying to play is what the NFC East is and has been. Like, you know what I mean? So we know that style. We prepare for that style. Chargers come out and beat us. Now, on the other hand, like the Chargers are one of the more physical AFC teams, in my opinion. You're not going to out-physical the Commanders. You're not going to out-physical the Giants. You're just not going to. It's not going to happen. They will come in here and out-physical the Dolphins, though. I think is what happens. I think they're just going to they're gonna return back to what many people thought they were, which was going to be a dominant run team. This might be the game see Hampton blow up. Herbert's going to have a clean pocket. Like, I don't think this Dolphins defense doesn't scare me whatsoever. And you start to look in this game for the edge for Miami. Like, what are they going to do well? That little dink and dunk game they be trying to play. I think the Chargers are going to be on that. I like the Chargers a good bit this week. Just playing the bounce back spot, the overreaction of people thinking that they're a bad team because they lost to the Giants, the Commanders. I just think they just play 2 teams equipped to play their style of ball, and the Dolphins are not. I do agree with you, though. The West Coast team down in the 1 o'clock window in Miami is not a great look. We have seen Miami win a lot of games in this spot. Typically, though, I feel like those teams are like teams that wear like dark jerseys. Like Chargers kind of got a light jersey. They will be in the sun, but they're more of a Cali team. Like, if there was a state that I think is prepared for this, I know Florida and Cali, they're not the same, but like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to compare here. I just think
I get what you're saying. It's like, look, when you talk about cold weather teams coming to play in the humidity, you watch them in the second half and they got their hands on their hips. It's the same thing we talk about with these, the warm weather cities going to play in snow and how they're going to do outdoors, or the same thing with dome teams. So I get all that. I think Darren Waller is going to make a difference in this offense as well. And I I think he has a big game against the Chargers, and Achane in that running game. I think if they get that going, Achane and Christian McCaffrey are two guys that they basically have wide receiver reception props, not running back receptions. It's like 6.5 every damn week because they're getting so many checkdowns.
Yeah. My last thing I'll say is I think playing in Miami is real. Being in Miami is a real thing. And I think we've now seen the Dolphins head coach and quarterback become Miami'd out. And follow me on this. When you look at Mike McDaniel pre-Miami and now, he don't even look like the same guy. And you look at Tua, same thing. And the final nail in the coffin for me with Tua was his statement this weekend, and that's completely Miami'd out. That's Miami'd out.
Yeah.
I'm going home to my family. My kids still love me. That's the mantra of Miami. I'm living in Miami. I'm living the best life imaginable. I got supermodels, supercars, everything, everywhere, the beach. Who cares about winning and losing? And I think that's the culture down in Miami. That's the culture. So
I literally brought up the same exact quote you were talking about on the morning show with the guys and going over it because I'm going, oh, that's great. Yeah, you have a great family life. What about football, dude? What do you want?
Right,
do you want to play or not?
That rubbed me the wrong way. It did.
I just think these injuries, and don't forget the Chargers made a trade with the Ravens. They pick up Odafe Owe from the Ravens, a pass rusher. You get a pass rusher from a team with no pass rush. Congrats. And Ravens get back a safety. So there's some plug and play here they got to figure out as well on a short week.
We'll see how this one ends up playing out. But this is another one of those tough games. Like a lot of people I respect are on the other side. And I get it. If the Chargers weren't off back-to-back L's, I probably would be with y'all. I probably would be,
I think a lot of people feel that way, right?
Huh?
I think a lot of people feel that way. Like, there's no way they can lose 3 in a row.
Yeah.
They can lose 3 in a row.
There's a way. There is a way. We shall see. The Chargers are the toughest team that lays an egg in this spot, too. So it's like, two teams that want to lay an egg. Who lays it? Man, where are we headed to next, Jeremy?
We're going to San Francisco, Tampa Bay. Is that right? Yeah. I almost forgot. Look, thinking about the games that I had. This is another one of those games. Plenty to like about this. You got San Francisco with 10 days rest, getting ready to come in. Mac Jones played extremely well last week, and now a little bit more preparation for a Bucs team that can be had on the outside. One of the issues might be you're wondering who they're throwing the football to in San Francisco. They did just fine against the Rams. Ironically, the way to beat the Rams is to throw the ball on the outside. I love this over. I think we see points galore. There are 3 games this weekend that I think are great daily fantasy, like stack up the game and see where it takes you. And this is one of them. I think Baker's not going to have any issues scoring on San Fran's defense. Igbuka has a big week. I feel like with San Francisco going up against this Tampa defense, yeah, you're not supposed to run on them. They're very stout up front, but it's another situation where we have a running back that's going to catch a ton of balls out of the backfield. I think it goes way over the total. We see points. Give me the over.
Over for Jeremy between these two teams. You know what I found out this week?
What's that?
Mac Jones is actually, in fact, Mike Jones. He is. His name is Michael McDonald Jones.
That's funny. He goes by his middle name,
like,
Mac.
Yeah, so it's who Mac Jones, but it also could just be who Mike Jones. So I thought that was hilarious. But in terms of this game, I do agree with you in this one. I like an over. I feel like I say this about Tampa all the time, and I know how this game is going to play out. The Niners are going to be up. Let's see. The Niners are going to be up 3 late in this ball game. Buccaneers are going to get the ball with a chance to go win and cover. All Buccaneers games play out. And the multi-million-dollar question is, do you trust Baker in that situation to drive and go score it? I've been telling you all year, Baker's a dog, and I think he does. I'm leaning towards Tampa, but I do like the over. I do think both teams can move the football. We saw teams move the football on Tampa a good bit this year. And the Niners defense are not as good as what they have been in years past. Some of those guys starting to get a little older. And like I said, I wish the Bucs offense was a little healthier because I think Mike Evans will still be out this week. But the way Igbuka been playing, I still think Godwin, a couple more weeks under his belt, coming off that nasty injury from last year, he'll get better as the season progresses. I know they're without Bucky, but I'm liking the Bucs this year, man. I like the grit. They've taken on the grit of their quarterback, which is figure it out. Even when it looks grim, they seem to figure things out. They fight to the very end, and I think high scoring and come down to the last play, like all Buccaneers games seem to.
Yeah, Jay, one other thing with this too. I mean, we talked about San Fran's travel. It's going to be a lot. You know, there's 3 teams coming to Florida, and all of them have to travel a ton. But, you know, one of the things with the Buccaneers losing Liam Cohen last year is he went off to Jacksonville to become the head coach. And I think the guy's absolutely brilliant. They still kept that same offense. And now you've got that offense going up against this banged up 49ers defense. And on the flip side, I mean, I know he doesn't get over the hump, but and get the Super Bowl, but Kyle Shanahan's one of the best play designers and play callers in all of football. I think you see an execution on offense from both of these teams, and that's why we get points. But I like it a lot. And I was joking earlier about that meme with the guy that's walking with his girlfriend and he's looking back at the other girl. That was me arm in arm with Mike McDaniel checking out Liam Cohen now, because I just love what he's done in Jacksonville, man. It's amazing, because I was clowning him for the Duval. I mean, he looked like a goober, but he's brilliant.
Yeah, there's a couple of swag teams I like this year. Jags, a swag team. I like the new swag Giants with Jackson Dart and Scatterbo. My actual swag team this year is the Colts, though. So
yeah, that's what I thought. It's Indy. You got your Indiana Jones.
Yeah. So, man, I'm excited about this weekend in NFL. I think it's tough, but I think if you find the right spots, it could be a really profitable weekend, my man. So I know where to find your spots that you love, and that's over at Pick Dawgz Premium. What you got going on this weekend?
Yeah, man, lots of great plays. Hitting well above 60% in the NFL, and that's including losing Monday and Thursday this week. I've been seeing the board well. I've had an undefeated week in college football leading into the weekend, so we'll see how Saturday goes, and I love the board there. But with the NFL, I got my best bet up, my concrete best bet, my favorite play of the week. I've talked about it. I've never had a losing season doing it. Right now, I'm 2-3. I missed last week with my play. So this week, I think we have a really good one that people are misreading, and it's my favorite play of the week. If you want to check that out, go over to Pick Dawgz. And Jay, one other thing, and I'm sure you know it, one of my favorite plays this weekend is a Javvante Williams anytime touchdown. He's from Carolina. There's an entire section of his family that's going to be there. You know they're going to move up and down the field. If they don't get him in the end zone, shame on them. I think he's getting a tutty here.
Nah, I for sure think he's getting a tutty. What a comeback season it's been for him. And returning home, you know, North Carolina Tar Heel. I think he's already been one of the best running backs in the league. I think he's 3rd in rushing yards right now, but in terms of yards per attempt, I think he's number 1. And the way, like you said, this Cowboys offense has been humming this year, I kind of like him for 2.
Yeah. Hey, that doesn't shock me at all. He's a lock button in my daily fantasy lineups because of the price and just because I think he's definitely getting in the end zone.
Fair enough, man. Jeremy, we appreciate having you on this week. We'll see you on the College Football Show and every day here on the Pick Dawgz YouTube channel on the Lowdown. And you also shot an NFL show where you cover a couple more games with Mark Zeno, and y'all do a college football show as well.
Yep, too much of me, but it's something where I've had a lot of fun working with Mark. People should know I know Mark from his Baltimore days, so all I do is bust his balls for the 30 minutes we're on there.
Check that out, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you, Jeremy, and we'll see you throughout the week.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. And we keep it rolling here on the NFL show. And I got Big Al McMorty here with me. Al, what's happening? How you doing this week, sir?
Doing good. Got the week off to a good start on Thursday with Kennesaw State. Also a 2-0 sweep in baseball on Thursday. So it's always good to get the football weekend off on the right foot. The NFL card looks pretty deep this week. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really good weekend.
Yeah, I had a really good week in the NFL last week. I did lose to start this week. Last night I had the under in that Giants-Eagles. They scored 23 in the first quarter. You're dead.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, but looking to bounce back. It's been a solid NFL season for me thus far. I've been telling everybody else, though, I think this is the toughest NFL card of the season thus far. So I think there's some landmines this week that people should kind of avoid.
Yeah,
but I also think there are a couple of really good key spots as well. So I'm ready to attack it, ready to make some money this week. You ready? What are we looking at first?
Yeah,
here?
I'm going to look at a team that we didn't see last week, and that was the Chicago Bears. They were off. They had their bye week last week. Now, 2 weeks ago, they went into Las Vegas. They upset the Raiders 25-24. They're now on the road in Washington. They're catching, 4.5 points from the Commanders. And I want to fade, Chicago off that week of rest. When you take a look at how rested road underdogs of +4 or more have done the last 46 seasons off an upset win, they've gone just 11-33 ATS. I'm going to fade Chicago. I'm going to take Washington minus the points.
Yeah, I'm with you in this one. The Commanders are just the better football team. At home, at the crib, they got their quarterback back. I think people forget how good this team was a season ago. Like, this team was in the NFC Championship game. The Bears are still the Bears as far as I'm concerned. I know they beat my team, the Cowboys, but that kind of felt like their Super Bowl. I'm still not sold on Caleb Williams. I think their defense has some holes. I'm leaning towards the Commanders in this one. This is not one of my favorite games of the weekend, though, by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. Yeah, no, I would agree with you there.
Fair enough. Where are we headed to next this week, my man?
Oh gosh, I'm going to take a look at my hometown team, the Los Angeles Chargers. They've had a weird season. I mean, they got off to a 3-0 start at the time, playing as well as really anybody, looking like they've got the best defense in the league. You're thinking, oh, maybe this is the year they're going to get to the Super Bowl and all that stuff. And now back-to-back upset losses. 2 games ago, they go into the Meadowlands, they lose to the Giants. You're like, okay, I'll give them. That's one, let down for the Chargers. That's okay. Every team has a loss here and there. You say that's fine. But now they've lost 2 in a row. They also got upset last week against a good football team, but still they got upset by the Washington Commanders. So now that's back-to-back upset losses. To me, that's a bad sign. When you get winning teams off back-to-back upset losses, these teams actually don't bounce back when they go on the road off those 2 losses. They've gone just 31-59 ATS over 46 years. And when they're favored on the road off those back-to-back upset losses, even worse, 15-36 ATS. I just don't want any part of the Chargers, this week at all. I'm going to, take Miami plus points.
Al on Miami too. I talked about this in a little bit with Jeremy, and I'm typically a huge Chargers hater, but I like them this week. I just do, man. Coming off back to back, and here's what I was telling Jeremy. I'm like, sorry for y'all that got to kind of hear this. I got to tell Al too. What I was saying is, the Chargers, I feel like, are an AFC team that likes, that they're trying to out physical pretty much all the other AFC teams. They're one of the more physical AFC teams, trying to rush the football, defensive line of scrimmage, all of those things. They're trying to out physical a lot of teams. Well, that game script is just not going to work all that often against a division like the NFC East. The Commanders and the Giants, you're not going to out physical those 2 teams. So, it doesn't shock me that they dropped 2 eggs back to back. Miami's a finesse team, and I for sure think the Chargers can go down there and outmuscle them and kind of get back to regular schedule programming. And then again, I didn't like some of the quotes from Tua this week. I'm done with the Dolphins as far as I'm concerned. And now that everybody has kind of cooled off on the Chargers, just 2 weeks ago, I was hearing they might be the best team in football. I was hearing Super Bowl talks. I was hearing all that. So now that everybody's kind of jumped off, overreaction after 2 weeks of L's, I think they probably go in here and handle Miami. Just out physical them, run the ball right down their throat, and Herbert gets back to looking all right. That's kind of what I think, but we'll see. Or they could just be the team who I thought they've been all this time, the team they've been over the past couple of years, overrated, overvalued. Harbaugh, Staley, doesn't matter, same team. I could go there.
Yeah, no, this is a big week for the Chargers. Do they, as you said, do they rebound and go to 4-2, or do they, stumble and bumble for the 3rd week in a row? So we'll see. I'm just saying historically, winning teams off back-to-back upset losses have not done well, and I'm one of those follow the data guys. So I'm going to follow where the data lead.
Another thing on your side, Miami's really good in this 1 o'clock window, against teams coming in. Like, this is the spot Miami does typically play well. It wouldn't outright shock me if the Chargers laid another egg and the Dolphins won this game. But the same thing could be said going vice versa. It wouldn't shock me if the Chargers beat them by 20 plus either. So,
yeah. No, I would agree with that.
One of those games. See how it plays out, man. I know these two games, while you like them, are not your favorites. I know where to find your favorites, and that is over at Pick Dawgz Premium. What you got going on this weekend, my man?
Yeah, I'm gonna have, maybe upwards of 10 NFL plays. Could even have, a rare 5-star play. So it'll be a pretty big week for me over at Pick Dawgz. And if you want to team me up with Jay, we've got the 2-for-1 handicapper specials. And you can use the code PICK at checkout and save 15%.
Hop on with Al McMorty over at Pick Dawgz Premium. I appreciate you joining us this week on the show, Al. We'll see you on the College Football Show, and of course here every day on the YouTube channel. It's that, like I said earlier, man, it's the best time to be alive. October, it's my favorite month, my birthday month. Yeah, all the sports come back. I love October. Appreciate you, Al.
Thanks, Jay. Good luck to you.
You too. And we keep it rolling here on the NFL show. And I got Ashley here with me. Ashley, how you doing this week?
Pretty good, Jay. Last week was average for me. I had a good NFL Sunday. I went 3-1, but I didn't do too well on Thursday or Monday Night Football. So I went 3-3 last week. So, it's a wash, but heading into this week, feeling pretty good.
Let's keep it rolling. I took a bath last night. We're recording this on Friday. I had the under. But I had a good last week, so I'm ready to bounce back this week and get back into the swing of things. And I think it's the toughest card.
It's tough.
Of the year thus far. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think there's a lot of landmines this week. So ready to kind of discuss what you're looking at here this week. What you looking
at? Throwing it over to what actually might be a landmine this week. Broncos and Jets. This is one of those lines, it's so classic. It's like, you feel so confident one way, but then you see how much the public is backing it, and it makes you second guess yourself. I got to stay strong here with the Broncos, though. The public's big on the Broncos this week on this one. I can't find any angle to not take them, though. I'll be honest. The Jets are just not looking good. Aside from they have the second worst scoring defense in the league. But aside from that, they have been playing sloppy football. They lead the league in fumbles. They're like the 4th highest penalized team in the league. They're just not really doing themselves any favors on either side of the ball. I don't think their special teams have been particularly great either. I know Justin Fields, obviously, he's dangerous on the ground. Breece Hall is dangerous on the ground, but this Denver defense has been made for stopping the run. They held the Eagles to 45 yards on the ground last week. Surtain's going to be able to shut down Garrett Wilson. I don't see the Denver defense giving up a lot of points here to this team. They might get a few, but I think the Broncos offense is starting to really ramp up, starting to click a little bit. They were slower to start the year, but I think Bo Nix is finally getting it together a little bit. The line again is just one of those things where the public makes me question it, but unless the Broncos shit the bed, I think they're going to take this one pretty easily. The Jets are 3-7 against the spread, and their last 10 is underdogs. So I'm going to roll with Denver -6.5 here. Might be a landmine, but we'll see.
London game too, man.
I know. Yeah,
I'm staying far away from this one. I think everything you said is correct. The Broncos, based on everything I look at, are the play here in this one. Do I really trust Bo Nix laying a touchdown across the pond in my stomach? No. But do I want to bet
games? I know.
Do I want to bet the Jets either? This is a nasty one. But like you said, based on everything I looked at, based on pure handicap, Broncos. So
I couldn't find a single angle for the Jets. Honestly, I really couldn't. But I don't know. Weird things have happened this year. I mean, look what happened last night. The Giants blew the bricks off of the Eagles. So who knows? But I'll stick with Denver here.
Fair enough. Where are we headed to next?
Jacksonville, Seahawks and Jags here. Even after their win last week against the Chiefs, I don't think people are taking Jacksonville seriously enough. And I totally understand why, right? Just given their recent performance over the last few years. Trevor Lawrence has never lived up to expectations. He's always good for a pick or two a game, it seems like. But after last week, I think they could very well give the Colts a run for their money in the AFC South. We know their defense is good. They're phenomenal against the run. Lawrence has the best offensive line in the league in front of him. He has plenty of weapons to work with offensively. I don't think he'll ever be like the guy that's going to lead them to a Super Bowl. But I think they have a pretty good shot at the playoffs this season. And on the other side, I've been a big supporter of the Seahawks this year. I'm a big Sam Darnold fan. I don't think he's quite received the respect he's deserved this year so far. But I will say the Seahawks' only wins this year have come against struggling offenses. And if we look at last week, we saw what happens when they go up against a pretty strong offense. The Bucs had their way with them through the air. Baker threw for almost 380 yards. That Seattle secondary is really susceptible to giving up chunk plays. So I like the way Jacksonville's playing offensively. I think they're putting up enough points to get it done. They're 3-0 straight up and against the spread at home this season. I think their defense is going to make the big difference here in this game. I think it's actually going to be a really fun game to watch. So I will be rolling with the Jags here with the points.
Actually taking the Jags. I get it. They played really well defensively. They have 10 interceptions already thus far this season. We saw that huge pick six on what was that? Was that Monday night or Sunday night? Was it Monday? I forgot what night that was, but against Mahomes.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday? I think it was Sunday. Like you said, these weeks are, there's so much going on now, baseball and everything. The days are.
Right. I forgot which exact day it was. I did watch that entire game though. And
oh no, it was Monday.
It was Monday? Okay, yeah, Monday night. So I think I'm gonna take the Seahawks here though, Ashley. One thing I said last week about the Jags was I felt like this game on Monday night was like their Super Bowl with the Chiefs coming in. So this just feels like a historic Jags lay an egg style spot. Then you got Seattle coming off the ugly loss at home, the 12th man. I think the Seattle defense is pretty good though. And one thing Trevor Lawrence makes me nervous of is his turnovers. I think Seattle may be able to create a few. A lot of people watch the Jags beat up on the Chiefs in that one, and I think the line here kind of speaks to me with Seattle favorites on the road. So
the line opened as Jags favorites, I believe. Okay. Earlier in this week, the Jags were laying, I think, 2 at home, 1.5 or 2. So it's moved a little bit, but yeah, it could definitely be an overreaction from last week, but. I also, this isn't my official pick, but I also wouldn't mind the under in this one either, to be honest. Seattle plays a slower, methodical game usually. Last week was an outlier for sure against the Bucs, but I think both defenses could come out well in this one. But I'm gonna roll with the Jags defense here to take it at home.
There we go. The new swag Jags and Liam Cohen. Duval. All right, Ashley, man, we got a good week of NFL action coming up. I know you got your favorite plays over at Pickdawgz Premium. What you got going on this weekend?
Yeah, you can get my NFL best bet of the day as well as an NFL 3-pack on the day. But as we've been preaching a lot lately, it's the best time of year. I mean, we got baseball postseason, NFL, we're knee deep in football. Hockey's kicked off, basketball's right around the corner. So now is definitely the time to capitalize on one of those longer term packages. So definitely get in there, see what works for you, use the code PICK, get a good deal there. And yeah, no shortage of plays this time of year. That's for sure.
Ashley, we appreciate you coming on the show this week. We'll see you on the College Football Show and on Ashley's Edge throughout the week. Money making weekend on the horizon.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. And we keep it rolling here on the NFL show. I got my guy, Brad Wins Best, with me. Brad, what's happening, my man? How you doing this week?
Doing good, man. We're starting to heat up in the NFL. Last week, we swept the slate 3-0 on the premiums. Brad's NFL breakdown, we went 10-3. So starting to catch some steam and ready to keep it going for this week.
Let's do it, my man. Let's do it. Where are we headed to this week for this show?
We are headed into New Orleans where we got the Patriots and the Saints. As you see here, man, the Patriots laying 3.5. I think a lot of people might think the Patriots are in the letdown spot after their massive upset win against the Bills last Sunday night. But I've bought into this New England stock a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to keep riding with it. I took the Patriots on the show a couple weeks ago against the Panthers, laying 5.5. That smacked. I was on the Patriots plus the 8 against the Bills Sunday night. That smacked, and I'm on them again in this one. This Patriots team is good, and this is a good offense. I think this offense is going to give a lot of teams trouble. I think it's official. Drake May is a good quarterback. I think Drake May is a solid quarterback. Mike Vrabel was huge for this team, in my opinion, just getting that culture back on track. And I think we're still getting a very fair price with this Patriots team. Saints, yeah, you picked up a nice win against the Giants, but let's see you go back-to-back. Let's see you be competitive in back-to-back games. I still think from a roster perspective, it's one of the worst teams in the league. So I think the Patriots have figured something out. I think they're riding a high. I think they have some momentum right now, and I think they win this game by a touchdown plus.
Brad laying it here with the Patriots in New Orleans. The Saints kind of in a letdown spot as well after a win over the Giants. We saw the Giants beat the Chargers, lose to the Saints, then beat the Eagles. We're recording this on Friday. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So, Rattler, he got his first win last week, but I pretty much said I think the Saints team is probably one of the worst teams in the NFL, if not the worst team in the NFL this year. So the Patriots, they kind of playing with some swag as well. Was that win last week over the Bills who they are, or was that the anomaly? I think is a multi-million-dollar question. We might not get that question answered this week, of course, against a bad Saints team, but I'm with you. I would lean Patriots in this one. It's probably one of my least favorite games of the week. I'm not rushing to lay points with the Patriots, especially not on the road. I think they're still slightly overrated, overvalued in terms of the full scope of things, but they got a light schedule, coming up. And they got a chance to really rack up some wins. So unless something jumps off the page to fade them, I'm not interested in doing so. And I'm not doing so with the Saints here. So forced to play it, I would agree with you.
Yeah, I can tell you don't like the Patriots though.
I don't. I'm not in love with them.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago too, but we're gonna get you on the train. What is it? Just a Drake May thing? Like what don't you like?
I don't even have any like. I just think they're they're like the 17th, 16th, the best team in the NFL. That's all.
I don't know, man. They're creeping up to that top 10 in my opinion, but we'll see.
That's fair. Maybe I'm hating a bit. We'll see. Yes, sir. Hey, man, we got a solid weekend of action coming up. College football, NFL, plenty of things to attack this weekend. What you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium?
Yeah, man. For this Sunday slate, like I said, coming off a 3-0 on the premiums, hit on Monday night with the Jags, hit last night with the Giants as well. So like we're just flowing with the NFL right now. We'll probably have 3 plays. I'm not fully done with my NFL homework, but expect 3 to 5 plays, and then of course my play of the day, which is $25 over at the site. Hop on a 3-day, hop on a 7-day, 30-day, all that good stuff. Ready to have a big month of October.
Let's do it, Brad. Appreciate you having on the show. Make sure y'all check out Brad's NFL breakdown. On that show, he breaks down every single game this week in the NFL. He said at the top of the show he went 10-3 last week. So, man, just handing out winners, locks, whatever y'all want to call them. Check out my man Brad Wins Bets on the YouTube channel. Follow him on socials. Brad, appreciate you having on the show this week, my man.
Appreciate it, Jay. Let's cash in.
Let's do it.